Hi team, welcome to your first Human Anatomy and Physiology video tutorial. This one is on chemical bonds and the difference between an ionic bond and a covalent bond. We're going to start with an ionic bond and we're going to look at drawing calcium oxide, or the combination of calcium and oxygen. You need to know the chemical abbreviations for each of those, and I will give you or tell you what the atomic number is, or the number of electrons that each of those have. So starting off with calcium, and calcium has 20 electrons, and oxygen has 8 electrons. So we'll draw calcium first. And the rings that go around calcium. Right, so how many electrons go in the first shell? Hopefully you said 2. How many in the second shell? Hopefully 8 is an answer there. And finally in the next shell. Another 8 there. And so far now we're up to 18. 2 in the first shell, 8 in the next one gives us 10. Another 8 gives us 18. So looking at that last shell, we've got 2 in that outside shell. So that's our calcium. Let's have a look now at oxygen. First shell, same, and now that second shell just has the 6 remaining. So again, remembering an ionic bond is the exchange of electrons, and again you need to try and work out what each atom would like to do in order to be happy. So calcium currently has 2 sitting in its outside shell. Ideally it would like to lose those 2. And oxygen has 6 in its outside shell. Ideally it would like to gain 2 in order to fill up that outside shell and have 8. So hopefully if I've got the technology right, I'll go boom. I don't think anything changed there. What was supposed to happen was these 2 electrons, they're going to shift over onto oxygen. So I'll draw that in for you. This electron here will shift over onto oxygen. So oxygen will gain those 2 electrons, and calcium will lose those 2 electrons. So let's have a look at those outside shells. This outside shell for calcium will disappear. That electron and that electron will disappear, and as a result it will have 8 in its outside shell. Oxygen now has gained 2 electrons, so it had 6 and now it's got 8. So calcium is happy and oxygen is happy. Let's quickly have a look at the charges now. Calcium has lost 2 negative charges, so calcium becomes 2 positive as a result. Oxygen has gained two negative charges. So oxygen becomes 2 negative as a result. So what you will see is this outside shell of the calcium will disappear completely. So that is calcium oxide when the two of them have combined together. Now we're going to have a look at a covalent bond. We're going to draw hydrochloric acid, which is the combination of hydrogen and chloride. Hydrogen has 1 electron and chloride has 17 electrons. So starting off with hydrogen, with just the 1 electron, that is what hydrogen will look like. And chloride will have 3 shells. Again, looking at that first shell, 2 electrons. Next shell, we have our 8 electrons. That gives us 10 so far, so we've got 7 left over for the last shell. So that's what each individual atom looks like. Having a look at a covalent bond, again this is the sharing of electrons. So we have a look at what each atom would like to have ideally in its outside shell. Hydrogen just got the 1 in its outside shell. Ideally it would like to have 2. Chloride has got 7 in its outside shell. Ideally it would like to have 8. So what the two of these do is they will share an electron. So this electron from hydrogen will be shared by chloride, and this electron from chloride will be shared by hydrogen. Right? So now adding up, hydrogen has 1 of its own plus 1 of chloride. That gives it 2 in its outer shell, so it's happy. Chloride has 7 of its own plus the 1 it's using from hydrogen. That gives it 8 in its outside shell. Okay. So for a covalent bond, that is what it looks like.